Potato chips. Imagine a world without potato chips. Sounds impossible, right? Well, let's travel back to 1853 and meet New York chef George Crumb, the man behind this beloved snack. Chef Crumb, whose name sounds more fitting for a baker, faced constant complaints about his fries. Customers said they weren't crispy enough. Annoyed and wanting to teach them a lesson, Crumb sliced the potatoes as thin as he could, fried them until they were super crispy, and doused them in salt. He probably thought, that ought to show them. But to his surprise, people went absolutely crazy for his new creation. The crispy, salty potato chips were an instant hit. What started as a frustrated reaction to a picky customer turned into a culinary revolution. His innovative twist not only satisfied his customers, but also gave the world a snack we can't live without. Tea bags. Imagine discovering a revolutionary way to make tea by pure accident. We're in early 1900s New York, where tea merchant Thomas Sullivan was looking for a cheaper way to send tea samples to his customers. Instead of using expensive metal boxes like other merchants, Sullivan decided to use silk bags. Customers were puzzled at first. They had never seen tea sent this way. Instead of opening the silk bags and making tea the traditional way, they thought they should pop the whole bag into a cup and pour hot water over it. And just like that, they stumbled upon a super easy way to make tea. Sullivan's story shows that sometimes innovation comes from the most unexpected places. This happy accident not only simplified the tea-making process, but also transformed the entire industry. Matchsticks. Imagine stumbling upon an invention that sparks a revolution. Literally, the year is 1826, and British chemist John Walker is mixing up chemicals, probably daydreaming about the periodic table or whatever chemists think about. Suddenly, he notices a crusty lump at the end of his mixing stick. Like any sensible person faced with a mess, he decides to scrape it off, and boom! It burst into flames. Walker immediately sees the potential and starts making and selling matchsticks at his local bookstore. Now, here's where it gets interesting. Being the gentleman that he is, Walker decides not to patent his invention. He believes that sharing this fiery discovery with the world is more important than getting rich. It's amazing to think that a simple scrape could lead to such a significant invention. Ice cream cones. Let's zoom back to 1904, the bustling St. Louis World's Fair, where the coolest inventions were on display. Among the innovative minds was Ernest Hamwi, an immigrant from Syria, selling a delicious, crispy, waffle-like pastry called zalabia. Right next to him was an ice cream seller facing a big problem. He had run out of dishes to serve his ice cream. Hamwi, seeing the ice cream seller's dilemma, didn't just stand by. He took one of his zalabias, rolled it into a cone, and handed it over. The ice cream seller scooped some ice cream into this newly formed cone, and the customers went wild. This portable, convenient, and delicious way to eat ice cream was an instant hit. Ernest Hamwi's quick thinking turned a potential disaster into a revolutionary moment in the history of desserts. Coca-Cola. Imagine a world without Coca-Cola. Impossible, right? But back in 1886, John Pemberton was just a pharmacist in Atlanta, not a businessman, who was trying to find a remedy for headaches. He concocted a simple syrup made from coca leaves and cola nuts. His creation hit the market that same year, intended to be mixed with water. Here's where it gets interesting. One day, a seller accidentally mixed the syrup with soda water instead of plain water, and boom! The delicious and refreshing drink we all love today was born. Vaseline. Imagine discovering a life-saving product in the most unlikely place. An oil rig. Back in the 1800s, chemist Robert Cheesebro was visiting some oil rigs when he noticed something intriguing. The workers were using a jelly-like gunk that built up on the machines to heal their cuts and burns. This gooey substance was actually a byproduct of drilling for oil, something most people considered waste. You've got to hand it to the first guy who thought, hey, let's rub this oil residue on our wounds. But they were onto something. Cheesebro saw potential and decided to refine this gunk, creating what we now know as Vaseline. Microwave oven. Imagine discovering a groundbreaking kitchen appliance by accident. Percy Spencer, an engineer working on radar technology, was one day tinkering with magnetrons, fancy tubes that emit microwaves and sound like a sci-fi villain. As he stood there, probably thinking about what to have for lunch, he reached into his pocket and found a disaster. His peanut butter candy bar had melted. This mishap got Percy thinking, if microwaves could melt his snack, what else could they do? So he grabbed some popcorn, threw it in front of the magnetron, and voila! The world's first microwave popcorn was made. Percy Spencer's quick thinking and curiosity turned an accidental discovery into a household staple: X-rays. In 1895, Wilhelm Röntgen was messing around with an electron beam, as one does. Curious, he unintentionally put his hand in front of it. Now, you might think his hand fell off, but no, something even more astonishing happened. He saw an image of his hand appear on a photographic plate. He realized that the radiation passed through solid objects and body parts, leaving a shadow. The denser the object, the more massive the shadow. This unexpected observation led to the revolutionary development of X-ray imaging. Antidepressants. Imagine discovering a life-changing medication by accident. In 1957, scientists were hard at work trying to find a cure for tuberculosis. They developed a new drug and began testing it on patients, hoping for a breakthrough. While the drug didn't do much to fix the disease, something surprising happened. It lifted the patient's moods. It's incredible how a search for a tuberculosis cure led to the discovery of the first antidepressant. This happy accident transformed the way we treat depression, offering hope and relief to millions. Safety glass. Imagine knocking a beaker off your desk and making a groundbreaking discovery. That's exactly what happened to French chemist Edouard Benedictus. One day, he accidentally knocked a beaker off his desk. To his surprise, it didn't shatter into a million pieces. It just cracked throughout. Puzzled, Benedictus investigated further and noticed that the beaker had a thin film of liquid plastic left over from a previous experiment. This accidental discovery led to the invention of shatterproof glass, a breakthrough that has made our world safer ever since. Drop a comment below if you found this video useful, give it a thumbs up, and share it with your friends. Subscribe to our channel so you don't miss any of our exciting updates coming soon. Stay tuned with us on worldexp.